About 18 months ago, I had a conversation with a very high-ranking Honda person who shall remain nameless, and I said to him, "What do you think of these rumours of a new 900cc Hornet?" To which he replied, "They're not rumours." So we've known for some time that Honda were about to beef up their very popular and very capable 600cc Hornet, and at last, it's arrived. A quick glance down the spec sheet makes mouth-watering reading. A naked street bike with 918cc's of Fireblade power, which has now been fuel injected, and a total weight of less than 200 kilos. Sounds like a completely mad idea. Well, it's true, the 900 Hornet can be as mad as you like, but there's a lot more to it than that. Okay, so it is the big brother to Honda's 600cc Hornet, but actually it's not that much bigger physically, despite the power from this 1998 fuel-injected Fireblade lump down there, which incidentally is a claimed 109 brake horsepower. Sat here like this, the whole thing looks very unintimidating, quite a user-friendly sort of bike. Doesn't look like the kind of machine that'll scare you half to death as soon as you fire it up. And the fact is, it won't. Because this is not a naked Fireblade, and if that's what you're after, then you'll be disappointed. You see, the power delivery is very different from a blade. It's been, now wait for it because we've heard this 1,000 times before, it's been retuned to give more usable mid-range power. Well, to be fair, you can actually tell because there's loads of punch below 7,000 revs, which is exactly where you need it on this style of bike. In fact, the maximum power, 109 brake horsepower, is measured at just 9,000 RPM, which is at least 1,500 less than most similar sized sports machines. So don't expect sports bike performance. Having said all of that, the Hornet will still top 140 miles an hour, so it's no slouch. But do you think you could hang on to these bars at 140 miles an hour? Well, not for more than a few hundred yards, I shouldn't think. Which brings us nicely to the riding position. Now, the strange thing with this is that just before I climbed aboard this, I stepped off a Fireblade, which I've been riding for some time. And when I climbed on this, I felt like I was really high up, stuck up in the air like being on a bar stool. But the weird thing is that the seat height of this Hornet is actually lower than the Fireblade, a whole 20mm lower at just 795mm. And the reason you get this feeling is simply because on a blade or a sports bike, you're leaning forward, so your head goes lower. On this, you are sat actually bolt upright, so you do feel as though you're up in the air, which gives you a nice view of all what's around you, especially in traffic. It's not a bad thing. And it also means that this bike will suit people who've got slightly shorter legs. You can reach the ground easy, get a nice foot down. But it also means that tall people, for example, I'm 6 foot, don't feel too cramped up at all. So it's actually very clever. The handling of this new Hornet is as good as it gets given the technology aboard. The bike isn't packed with the very latest frame and suspension engineering, so it doesn't offer quite as much feedback to the rider as a more high-tech sports bike would. But that doesn't stop it being lots of fun. As usual, there's a brake at each end, and they're more than adequate to bring the whole thing to a very abrupt stop. The fuel injection system seems to be glitch-free, and I can honestly say that I didn't notice any kind of hesitation even when filtering through busy traffic at low revs. Personally, I think the Hornet's best feature is that it can be ridden however you like. It kind of depends what mood you're in. It can be as mad as you dare, or as smooth and sensible as you wish. Now, if you're very observant, you will have noticed that this is not a standard Hornet. This is not exactly how it comes. This has had one or two bits and pieces added to it, one or two optional extras which you can buy. So if you start at the front here, it's got a little fly screen on it, which is only small. It does keep a little bit of the wind blast off your chest, and I have ridden a Hornet without one, so it does work a bit. But if you want one of them added to your bike, it will cost you 65 quid, which is not bad. This has also got a centre stand added to it. And we're always on about centre stands. Me and my mate Jeff think every bike should have a centre stand. Well, this one's got one added to it. If you want to put one on your 900 Hornet, it will cost you £125. Also, this one arrived with these on it. Honda sent this to us and it's got these on it. They're crash protectors, or mushrooms if you like call them. I don't know why they've put them on it. Trying to tell me something. Maybe they don't trust me. But if you want to add these, they'll cost you a further £115. The basic bike, without all the bits and pieces, can be put on the road for a touch over £6,300. Now, some people would say, if you've got that kind of performance, you might as well have a sports bike. What's the point in having a naked bike like this with all that power down there? There again, a sports bike will cost you at least another £2,000. So what do you do? Well, the choice is yours.